Welcome to the Overland Sea podcast. Today we are talking about the away game at Man United. Andrew, not the result that we were looking for or hoping for or needed. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start by giving me your thoughts on the game and the performance, or would you like just to go into the starting lineups first?
I think the performance was fucking dreadful. Genuinely, there were maybe two
Oh.
Chelsea players you could pass off as being professional footballers.
Oh, do you know what? I'm actually
No.
I'm intrigued by this. Just give them to me now.
I think first half Thiago Silva was probably the only one that actually looked like a professional footballer in that entire half, and then Palmer regained some credibility with his goal, and that was don't get me wrong, it was a great goal, but he gave the ball away a lot, and in dangerous areas in the first half. Enzo was a passenger. Caicedo gave the ball. Like all of them gave the ball away a lot. They all made Dizazi look good, which is difficult to do at times.
So I have to disagree with you a little bit there with the first half. I agree about I agree with the Cole Palmer comment. I agree with the Cole Palmer comment. I actually think that's the worst I've seen him in a Chelsea shirt.
Yeah,
and to be fair, like the first half, I was just like, "You, what is this? Who are you?"
but he's genuinely up there for my man of the match as well. Like from Chelsea, like I think it was his worst performance, but he's been excellent for us.
I mean, he got the
Like,
goal,
who did anything
huh?
really? Who did anything really?
You know what? I feel sorry for Sanchez.
Yeah,
I'm not being funny. We
the bloke gave the ball away so many times. Like obviously you've got to make some saves as well.
No, but that was more in the second half. I thought the first half he was absolutely outstanding. I know he went.
Yeah.
I know he scored the one goal, but mate, honestly, with some of those that double save, he saved the penalty.
Both of them hit him. The penalty was a good save. He made some good saves. The McTominay double save was just the ball hit him twice.
Yeah, but still,
So I think Sanchez was also up there. He made a ridiculous amount of saves.
well, considering we normally slag
But
him off,
yeah,
I thought the
yeah.
first half.
For
I thought,
him,
you
that
know
was an
what,
unbelievable
we
performance.
we could have been down a lot more in that first half if it hadn't been for him.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean that game could have been a cricket score. It was fucking embarrassing.
oh mate, the first half I was like, when are we going to wake up? When are we going to wake up? And to be fair, I actually didn't think Caicedo had a bad first half. Um,
I think he looked worse on the basis that Enzo was a complete passenger.
I think the midfield in general was atrocious
Yeah.
overall. You know, I said this about the Brighton game where I was like, you know, that cohesion, like there was just no fluidity whatsoever. Like we could barely string a pass in the midfield. We could not get anything from the midfield to the final third. And when we did get something to the final third, just the range of passes and decision making again was absolutely atrocious. Um, yeah, oh,
I I don't think there's really any redeeming features about us tonight. I don't think there's
no, there's
anything that
nothing.
you can really be positive about. It was
There's nothing. I mean, again, I'm getting. I see. I kind of want to say that teams have figured our midfield out, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't even think our midfield have even know what they're really doing. I still don't think that we have the right players in midfield. I know everyone talks about Lavia, and I really hope that he is the key because the midfield is really starting to struggle. Um, and they made a comment in the commentary with, nearly £250 million spent in the midfield just on two players. It is worrying. But even then, like, don't get me wrong, I was so surprised that Reece James didn't start the game, and then on top of that, Cucurella played right back, and they put Colwell at left back. But even then, when Reece James came on, I didn't do anything. I actually think he had a bad game. He gave the ball away
a lot.
twice. You
He
just
made up for it a couple of times, but uh, there's just not really much. Everyone's made at least one big mistake there. I thought Thiago Silva was relatively excellent until he tried a scissor kick in the middle of the pitch and all, like kicked it towards our goal to like Hoyland, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Why is he doing a scissor kick there? Like what?
Yeah, I mean,
It was everything was
people say,
brainless. We had no idea what to do going forward. I mean, we could have scored a couple of goals in the first half. Second half was nothing.
no. I mean, there was it Broja had a chance which he was unlucky with at the back post. Enzo had a difficult cross that he had to deal with. I still don't think we've actually found the right position for Enzo yet, or I don't think he's got the right players around him for him to be effective. I don't know anymore, but I'm so concerned about that midfield now. So concerned about that.
And like Enzo used to have a fair amount of bite to him. Used to be able to put a challenge in. In the last few
Well,
games, he just looks like he's not interested, and all he wants to do is be a late arriver in the box. And it's like, well, great, but that's not the position that you're playing in at the minute. And maybe once Lavia's back, he will play in that position. Although I didn't think he was particularly great in that position when he was playing it early in the season, and Conor Gallagher was playing further back.
agreed.
I think tonight showed. I saw. I think it was just like a post about someone talking about Conor Gallagher, where we lose more games with him than without him. But I just think he's the one that makes teams make a mistake,
No,
and that's the only chance we've got of scoring at the minute.
like, like I've said, I don't think Conor Gallagher is the best midfielder in the world. I don't think there's I think the one thing he's good at is that press. It's the one thing that he really does well for us. I think he's a good midfielder, but I do think when we don't have him playing, it's noticeable. No one else is pressing. Like barely anyone else was running. And actually, to be fair to him, like he can go 90 minutes box to box. Enzo can't go box to box 90 minutes.
No.
And I think that was a big problem because with Cole Palmer in the middle, he doesn't drop back as much. Whereas Connor will. And I think with that, it helps with the flow in terms of pass and move. There was no pass and movement from the midfield at all today. And again, Connor offers that. He offers options by his runs, by tracking back. And, Enzo can't do that. And I think that's part of the problem with when you're saying like in terms of him having to stick in a challenge. I don't think he's quick enough. That's the one thing I say about him is that he's a lot of pace to him. So he's slow. He's slow to that tackle. He gave the penalty away for that fucking reason. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh. First of all, I was like, wait, what? What's happened? And then I saw the replay. I was like, yes, a fucking Stonewall penalty. You can't argue it.
I'll give it a fucking good go.
He's late and he stands on his foot. It's not massive. It's not horrific. It's not like ref. But
this is the thing, right? Is any contact in the box on a foot, a pen? So the commentator at some point said it's contact with consequence. As in there's something in that, and I took that to mean that there's something in that means one, it either puts the team at disadvantage, or two, he has to go down. I've had my foot stood on a lot of times. Yes, it's painful. Do you have to go down and fly around all over the place? No. Has he done anything that makes him fall over? No. Is Anthony in the play at that point? No. Is giving a team a 75% chance of scoring a goal, which is what penalties are in terms of conversion, for that really required? It's not dangerous play. It's not.
No, it's not.
It is a penalty in the rules. But if you look at that compared to Amrabat pushing Mudryk in the back while he's trying to shoot and nowhere near the ball, and you go, oh, it's only a nudge. In terms of the actual level of contact, there's not a million miles away. One is actually putting someone off, and one is off the ball, miles away, not even in play.
I agree with your assessment on that front, but I think the overall argument for the penalty that we gave away today was it was late. Like it was late, and he stands on him. Like I agree with what you said. It doesn't apply to that, but he's clearly put in a challenge, or he's clearly not thought about what he's doing and where he's going, and he's late and he's trod on someone's foot. Like, don't get me wrong, he doesn't need to go down and fall over. You might limp a little bit and go, oof, ouch. But footballers don't do that, because footballers will always look for any type of free kick or penalty nowadays.
Okay, let's put it this way: if that standing on a foot happens at a corner, is it a pen off the ball?
In what? So
Player's nowhere near the ball.
yeah,
A player stands on their foot. Is it? Would you give a penalty in that situation?
no, I wouldn't give a penalty in that situation.
So why is it a penalty? Because Anthony kicked the ball away and was nowhere near it. Why is it then a penalty in that situation? If it's not a level of contact thing, it's not. He's not getting the ball, so it's not a.
No,
He's
it's not.
succeeding fair in play.
No, I get what you're saying, but I think it's because the idea behind it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think the idea behind it, the only thing that I can, give reasonable assessment to, is the fact that he had the ball. Yes, he's passed it, and Enzo's clearly run to him to make a challenge or to do something, and he's then, whether he's meant to or not, he's then trod on his foot. So for me, and I think for a lot of people, you'd argue that's a late challenge and a careless challenge. Not reckless, not dangerous, but careless.
Yeah. I also think Annie McCoy made a good point of, or no, who was it? It was someone at half time made a good point of whether that's
Shearer.
was it Shearer, whether that's a high enough bar to take the ref to the screen.
That I agree with. That's the defining thing for me.
I just don't. I don't think that has. I don't think we live in a world where that has to be a penalty, and I don't think football should be that has to be a penalty. I get that there's contact, but giving someone the opportunity for a goal for something that is nicking it, he's got no chance. Like, I can understand it being a penalty under the rules that they are, and I don't have that much of a problem with it in terms of the rules as they currently stand, as far as I understand them. I just personally don't think that penalties, where there's a 75% chance of scoring a goal, should be given for something as innocuous as standing on someone's foot when they're not good. They're not going to score. It's not.
It hasn't affected the game.
It hasn't affected the game. Like, it's meaningless in the game, and giving them a penalty for it just feels a bit. I get if he's like side them down and there's some kind of harmful play or something, and you go, well, yeah, like it has to be a booking. If it's a stand on the foot, and I don't think he's even caught him with the studs, so I think he's just caught him in the middle. So fine, and because I think then you start looking at any level of contact in the box that's late. Why is a push not? Like, why is a push not a pen?
No, I agree. I think it's just the way that the game's going. A lot of it as well, I think, is player welfare. Again, not that it was a serious challenge. I mean, the thing that I think the thing that I take away more about this than anything else is more during that commentary, and even I think at half time and stuff, they're going, it's a silly challenge, it's a milner. What I find more disturbing more than anything else, a bit like what you're saying about Mudryk being pushed, is that challenge that happened from Milner on Mudryk on the weekend against Brighton, where he's got his body in the way. He's got every right to make that challenge. It's not a penalty. That should be given as a penalty. It's like he's completely taken his legs out from behind. And
yeah, I think just because you get your foot in front of someone else's foot doesn't mean that you can not kick the ball. He's basically tripped him.
No, I don't think he did get his foot in front of him. What he did was he got his arm in front of him and he got his body in front of him. But then Mudryk went past him. And then actually what he's done is he's actually just gone through the back of him, not horrifically, not like maliciously, but he's gone through the back of him and completely taken his legs from him and tripped him. So
I do want to understand what is enough of a push and what is enough of a pull. Like, if you think about the penalty that Haaland got against us at City when he was never winning the ball, there was
Yeah,
one half a dozen the other.
yeah.
Not that much contact. He falls in completely the wrong way to be fouled by a a pull in terms of it, the pull bringing him down. Get to pen. Mudryk gets pushed in the action of shooting in enough of a way that's going to put him off. It's not a viable challenge of winning the ball, is it not?
I mean, technically, the way that I understand the rules nowadays is, and at one point they were hot on it. They're not on it. They're not anymore. Fucking shock. But you're not supposed to be holding your opponent. Like, you're not supposed to have your hands on the other opponent. You're not supposed to be grabbing their shirts. You're not supposed to be pushing or pulling. So I think at any point, if you're pulling somebody to gain an advantage, even if they're not getting anywhere near the ball and it's a corner, for example, and the ball's going front post, but your player's making a run and you're grabbing him and you're pulling him down, for me, that's still a penalty. Like, you're just not supposed to do it. It's just stupid. Again, pushing somebody when they're trying to make a chart, like, it's just stupid. You don't, when that ball comes as they're going to run in, as that player's running, and that man, he's not looking at the ball half the time. He's looking at the player. He's trying to stop him. He's not looking at the ball.
Mm.
So for me, they don't know where that ball's going. They don't know if it goes near post, middle post, back post, or over. They have no clue, and they're grabbing somebody or they're pushing somebody. So that to me is an instant penalty.
I just don't, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are, and I don't know what they.
I don't think anybody does. It's all open to interpretation nowadays with regards to the situation and all this other stuff. It's just like, no, just I think they actually need to simplify certain things, and then I think it'll make things a lot clearer for everybody.
Yeah,
But
I'm
anyway,
also upset that Luke Shaw wasn't sent off for kicking the ball away for a second
twice.
time.
Because
We got for the first one after we kicked up a huge fuss about it. But what, like, I don't. If you're not going to send someone off for it, what's the point? What's the point? We've racked up so many bookings for kicking the ball away this season.
Or arguing with the referee.
Or arguing with the referee. And this game, we have to absolutely go for it to get Luke Shaw booked to the point where the commentators are commenting, I don't like when players like go after players get booked. Well, if the ref fucking booked him and looked like he was going to book him before we started kicking off, like everyone kicks off against us. And then there was another time where Bruno Fernandes is out of play. The goalkeeper, I think, kicked it. He was out of play, and he just absolutely wellies it while he's off the pitch. And you're like, if that's not kicking the play, what is?
And Regulon did the same thing with obstructing the ball when there was a throw in for us, just like walking back with the ball.
Yeah, and he got booked for that as well. But it's just like, well,
but again, it's the consistency. But again, it's that consistency of it.
Yeah. It's that, yeah.
I agree with that. I've always said this. I've always said players shouldn't be running up to the referee. But at the same time, and again, do you know what? Fair enough. There's a lot of players on the pitch, and sometimes you don't exactly see what's happened fully. You'll just see the ball rolling away or whatever. And I will hold my hands up and say, can a referee always see in between all these different people how the ball's running? But you've got a fourth official and you've got two linesmen. You're all mic'd up. We know you're mic'd up because one of them had a problem with his bloody microphone and his earpiece in the first half. So again, it's like, why aren't they working together as a team? Why aren't they saying, by the way, he's just kicked the ball away?
The second Luke Shaw one is completely obvious because the ball's stopped. Like he's let the ball basically amble out of play. The ball's basically stopped, and then all of a sudden it's rolling pretty quickly, and no one is anywhere near it other than Luke Shaw. It's fine. I mean, the reason I'm complaining about all this is because I don't want to talk about how shit we were in that game.
I was going to say, we deserved
the fucking win. So, like, don't let me take this away from United. They were so much better than us, and it should have been a cricket score. Ridiculous performance, and I'm talking about anything I can other than how fucking dreadful we were in that game.
What do you think it was that made us dreadful? For example, was it the fact that we didn't have the intensity? We didn't look like we're up for it. Do you think it was the wrong formation and we should have had other people starting again? Not that we've got many choices at the moment. Or do you think it was literally just that United were really up for it because obviously they've clearly been hammered by pundits, by the media, by fans, by clearly their management after that Newcastle game and result, which probably should have been more.
I kind of think it's everything. I think I'm at the point now where I'm done with Colwell at left back. Doesn't work. Even had the chance, like back post header he lost against McTominay for them to score the second
Oh,
one as well.
and he appealed for a free kick.
Yeah, so incredibly soft. That would have been so incredibly soft to disallow a goal for that after it's gone in. Um, I think he's a good centre back, but he doesn't defend like a left back, and he shouldn't be playing left back. That system also doesn't work. Like, I can understand if you go. I could understand the system at the beginning of the season where you had he seemingly wanted to play three centre backs and shift to a three at the back formation when we had the ball.
Yeah,
That only works if you've got
wing backs.
a wing back, one of the wing backs on that is going to get forward.
Yeah.
Cucurella playing on the wrong side is not someone I want to get forward, even if he is going to get forward. So completely pointless. So I didn't really understand the formation, like that side of it. But if Reece James wasn't fit enough to play full 90, I understand. Fine.
Well, the rumors coming out, the rumors beforehand, they never spoke about it unless Poch said it in his pre-match conference on the side of the pitch, which I only caught a bit of. But the kind of what the pundits were saying, what was it, the commentary? Someone was, I think it's commentary, was saying like maybe he's been left out to kind of just to show Poch's displeasure at that stupid red card that he received. But I don't know why he'd leave him out such a big game.
Yeah.
For that, like, fine him a week's wages if you really
leave
want.
Someone out, leave them. Also, if you leave someone out, leave them out. Don't put them on the bench.
Yeah,
if you're that upset with them, leave them out. Don't put them on the bench.
Again, it's not as,
doesn't make sense.
It's not as if you had a lot of cover there in that position if you want to do that anyway. So I think actually in that sense you just fine them. I'd fine them. So if I want to show someone displeasure, like, you're being fined a week's wages.
You have a go. You have a chat with them, and you go like, "That's not
yeah.
fucking acceptable." Fine, like.
But I didn't understand that back line, to be honest. I really didn't understand that back line when I first saw it. I was like, this is. I actually genuinely thought Cucurella got confused and just ended up starting on the wrong side of the pitch.
Yeah.
But mental.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, and by the time I think Reece James came on, I think the team was just gone. Like, the team, there was nothing. There was no performance left. They were all just completely clueless. And
I can't remember when he came on, but as soon as that second goal went in, we dropped. You saw it. You saw the frustration of the players. They completely dropped.
Yeah,
they didn't want anything to do with that game anymore.
So they said during the commentary, United have averaged 14 shots a game.
Yeah, they had 18 in the first half.
They had 18 in the first half, and in the end, Flash Scores has them at 28 goal attempts, so double their normal.
I mean, they did run us off the pitch.
Bruno Fernandes was open at all times, and once he got the ball, had as much time as he wanted to put a ball in the box. There was no real tactics. There was no energy. There was no, other than the wingers running in behind and even them not particularly making great decisions.
We were completely.
Sterling won.
Which one?
So the Sterling cross for Jackson had a decent.
The
decent one-on-one. It was
the cheese roll, as we would call it on FIFA.
Yeah. And it, like, don't get me wrong, I think it is more Jackson's fault than Sterling's, and he should.
I know
Jackson, that we are starting a Chelsea player. I think a Chelsea striker should be putting that away, but Sterling has made that as awkward for him as almost possible. Other than kicking it up like knee height, the time that he played it makes it as difficult. We've got a striker that's low on confidence, and he puts him in a position where he's got to make an awkward decision between, do I hit it first time? Do I try and round the goal, take a few touches around the goalkeeper? Like, that should have been a goalkeeper slightly committed towards Sterling's side to block the near post.
No, I agree with the timing. I agree with the timing of the pass.
It's
and
just,
at first, Ali McCoy slagged Sterling off for it, and I thought, when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, damn straight. But I still thought Jackson should have done a bit better. And then actually, when I saw the replay from different angles at half time, I actually thought, do you know what? The weight of the pass and all that isn't actually that bad. but I agree with you on the timing.
Yeah, it's just the timing
He's
of the
not
pass
committed
gives
to
him
defender,
weird
not
decisions.
committed to goalkeeper. I actually thought he was going to shoot at first from that position and like where he was. I thought, oh, he might have a shot here. When he passed it,
Probably been better off, yeah.
I actually thought. I know. I've said don't be selfish and greedy in the final third, but that for me was a moment that actually where you go, no, you've got every right to take a shot there. Like he just didn't do enough to commit anybody.
No.
But Jackson at the end of the day, like he takes, and Jimmy said it before the game, and then he said it at half time. He does. He takes too many touches. Every time I see him now with the ball at his feet, I still think about that guy behind us a few games ago making that giraffe comment. I can't unhear it. I hate to say it, but I genuinely when you see that, you're going,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I can see the cartoon strip now. It's ridiculous, but I thought Broly should have come on sooner, and I I didn't like the 4-4-2 formation. I don't think it did anything for us. I actually thought Broly should have come on
I
sooner.
don't think we're any worse.
No, I'm not saying that, but I thought Broly should have come on sooner,
Yeah.
and I disagreed with Mudryk coming off. I was like, you cannot keep Jackson on with the way that he's played today. I know he needs confidence and I know he needs minutes, but sometimes I think there is that fine line between keeping a player on to try and do something or keeping a player on and they end up digging a bigger hole for themselves and making things worse for themselves. I know it's quite dejecting being subbed and you're the striker, yeah, of course, or you're whatever, or you've been done on the wing at fullback every time oh fuck's sake. But
If I'm honest, I agree with the sub, and I thought, right, what this means is we've then got one of Jackson or Brodia up against Maguire.
and Luke
Then we've
Shaw,
got one up against Luke Shaw.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And whoever's up against Luke Shaw, we kick it long. Did we kick it long? Did we nonced about with it at the back, and cause ourselves more problems for 10 minutes? Absolutely pointless.
Well, the thing for me was, don't really know what I said about Jackson, and I still stand by what I said about Jackson. I agree with what you're saying about having two strikers, and to a certain degree, I'm a bit like, yeah, cool. It does make sense in some point, but we were not getting the ball out there. Like that for me was the overwhelming thing. It's like it's all well and good you're putting two strikers up there, but no matter what we do, either the ball is not long enough and the defender gets it, or the ball is intercepted by midfield, or the ball is too short and it goes to a midfielder. Like the gap between in our midfield was horrific. I actually felt like we needed to overload the midfield somehow. I know again we didn't have any real main
Leo
option.
Leo Castle dying on the bench, I think.
You know what I would have done if I'm brutally honest? Do you know what I would have done? I would have brought James. I would have brought James on, and don't ask me for who because I generally don't know at this point. I maybe would have gone three at the back, but I would have brought James on. I would have tried to stick him in midfield. Maybe take Cucurella off and just overload and keep him in midfield. I don't know, but the midfield was just being overrun. I know we didn't have Big Les to play. We didn't have Connor to come on because he's suspended. Lavia's injured. Chukwuemeka's injured, but we lost that game in the midfield today for me.
I think we lost that game all over the park. I think they're
No,
better than us
no
in
one,
every
no
area.
area had a good game.
I think midfield, you're right, is the most
No,
important, and we got overrun.
no area had a good game, but the midfield had nothing to offer. The midfield, like didn't create an outlet. They created problems with the press, and like I said, the defense just looked like they were shell shocked for most of the game. Hence why I thought Sanchez deserved a comment because I thought he did really well in the first half. And again, that final third, just again, I don't understand what they're working on. I don't understand how Sterling, for one, I know we've said this a lot, and I know he's been a very good player for the season, but his passing in the final third, like his through balls are just awful. It's like some of that experience, I don't know how it happens. Jackson's control is
If I'm honest, the passing from all three of the front three is dreadful. I mean, even the goal that we scored, Madrid was passing it behind Cole Palmer.
You know what? He did so well to keep that ball under control. He did so well. Like when that went and he got the ball, but I thought, oh, it's just gonna sort of bounce off him and it's gonna make it easy for a defender. He's gonna lose his footing. He's not gonna have enough control or power to carry on his run. And then he did, and he got swarmed. I was like, oh, I've got nothing on. And he did the shot. And you know what? It's a really well placed shot, weak shot. There's barely any power on it. But it was so well placed. The keeper
And
played.
it came through bodies and it was
Yeah.
right in the corner. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah.
But,
that was the only way you could hit it and it go in.
yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. But I think for me, that was the only thing he did that whole game.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. I mean, yeah, there's not much I don't want to talk about anymore, Matthew. There's no redeeming features.
Don't you start Matthewing me as well.
I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to watch the game at the weekend. Maybe the one thing that we can glean from this is the fact that there is fuck all information that Sean Dyche could have got while watching that game because we were fucking dreadful. So we have made the Everton manager completely waste a trip. Before we played.
To be fair to him though, it's not far between Liverpool and Manchester. So
they're playing Newcastle tomorrow, though. That's a little bit further.
Yeah, he's probably to take a little pit stop.
Well, there you go. Really exciting. Great. Love football. Really
here's one for you because there's a lot of talk at the moment about various managers under pressure. Ten Hag being one of them. Steve Cooper at Forest. Steve something at Forest. And people talk about Poch being under pressure, especially after that Newcastle game. What are your thoughts when you hear stuff like that to do with Poch and maybe he'll get sacked? Because at the moment they're saying they'll stick with him, but they said the same thing about Potter, and obviously that didn't last. So,
I don't think he's done a terrible job.
No,
I think we've been the better team in most games, and admittedly, 2 of the last 3 games we've been absolutely dire. But at the same time, we're still looking at the same problems of we don't have anywhere near the full squad fit. We've got 3 midfielders that are fit. One of them's banned.
Do you honestly think though? I'm not saying that this isn't the case, but do you honestly think though that if we had the full squad, we wouldn't be struggling as we have been?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Nkunku comes back and actually he buries chances. I don't know. I don't think we've got a goal scorer up front, and I think that's been our problem through a lot of managers, including Frank's first appointment. We just haven't really had a striker that's going to bang goals in.
No, I disagree. Tammy Abraham did actually really well in that first season. Or was it the second season?
But Tammy, okay, fine. But Tammy was a decent finisher, not an elite finisher.
No, I agree.
But we didn't create anywhere near as many chances with Tammy because he had nothing else to his game. Didn't particularly hold the ball up well. Wasn't a great dribbler. Wasn't a great passer. He was, I would say, below average for a Premier League striker in most of those categories, and then made up a fair bit with his finishing. But we weren't creating chances because we couldn't get into the game further up the pitch. And then we had Timo Werner, who was... We created a fair amount of chances. His running created a fair amount of chances.
Yeah, he couldn't score.
But couldn't score unless he was 5 yards offside beforehand.
Which he didn't need to be because of his pace.
Lukaku...
Don't.
Garbage.
Skip.
And even before that, we haven't had an elite striker since Diego Costa for me.
100% agreed.
And even then, Didier Drogba, who had a slight overlap when he came back to the club, I think he's probably up there with the strikers that we've had like since, if that makes sense. So like if you put that old Diego Drogba after he left, went to the MLS for a couple of years, came back for like half a season or a season
Yeah.
under Mourinho, I still think that striker is probably better than a lot of the ones that we've had since. So it's been a problem position. I'm hoping Nkunku either fixes that problem by being that striker and finishing those chances, or unleashing something by playing in a different position that gives these players the confidence, and we just get back to something similar to what we saw at pre-season, where there was sort of semi-free flowing football. There was some flicks, there was confidence, and we were taking our chances when we got them. Obviously, it almost feels like pre-season is a different sport, because even at the time, I felt like we were the only team that was actually at it, and I think everyone else just wasn't really there yet. I don't know whether we were just a couple of weeks further ahead than everyone else at that point or what, but
Well,
when we were playing teams, we were running them off the park, and
I
they
was
were
going to say
nowhere.
Poch, Poch brought in his what's it called, his fitness camp. It's a 2 week camp, and former players from Southampton, even Spurs. I think it was Southampton. I definitely heard someone speak about. He said it is brutal. He said that
Yeah.
I've never had another manager do anything like that, to the point where you're throwing up and then you're literally going again. So I think that probably helped. But then I think fitness can only take you so much in a game season when the squad is so small. I love how we've literally gone from saying that we've had a too big of a squad, and now I feel like our squad is actually too small.
There's only too small because of injuries and suspensions.
Yeah.
And the amount of players we've got, I don't know, but we've got a fair number of midfielders. We shouldn't be struggling for a central midfield, other than the fact that we've loaned half of them out, and then
We've got what, 3 out at the moment, haven't we? Big Les has now got a knock.
yeah,
And
Connell
then
was suspended. Lavia's been injured.
forgot about Connor being suspended, yeah, but in terms of injuries, we've got 3 injuries in midfield, 3 in defence.
We
Mental.
must have more than that in defence.
Chalobah,
Fofana, Gusto.
Gusto. Oh, Chilwell.
Well, we've got one forward injured, unless
Yeah.
Madueke's injured, and that's why he's not getting a look in. But
No, he has him and Big Les apparently both had knocks after the Brighton game. Like at the end of the Brighton game, they reported knocks.
right.
Where do you? I was about to say, where do you see us going now? But no, fuck that. What do we have to do against? I know it's not the Everton one, but what do you want to see moving forward for the Everton game?
We're saving that for Everton. I'm done with this. No, I'm not. There's literally nothing positive to talk about after that performance. I need a couple of days to just.
Do you know what I thought about this after like towards the end of the game, especially after they scored that second goal and we just didn't do anything. But I was about to say, like, Andrew, you're gonna have to do this one. I'm still processing, but I was like, no, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. Here's one for you. I haven't asked you this. Levi Colwell was captain in the first half. Good decision.
I don't understand the complete unwillingness to give it to Thiago Silva.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, he was my choice of captain at the start of the season.
Amen. And do you know what?
And it seems like he's now. I also don't understand, because I think Enzo's been captain
he has.
while Colwell's been on the pitch.
I think he is now. He's the 5th. He's the 5th different captain we've had under Poch, because we've had Reece, we've had Chilwell, we've had Thiago Silva, we've had Gallagher, and now we've had Colwell. Do you know what? I even want to say Sterling was captain at one point briefly.
I do think Enzo's been captain.
No, Enzo's 100% been captain, because do you remember?
But then you missed him off.
Did I?
Or you missed Reece James off.
No,
I
I
don't
said
I can't remember who
first.
the first one was. So if the first one was Reece James, you missed Enzo. So it was Reece James, Chilwell,
Conor
Conor
Gallagher,
Enzo, Thiago Silva, Colwell.
6. Yeah, 6. We know I can't count. Yeah. I was really surprised to see. I don't get me wrong. I think he's a good player. Nothing against the guy at all. I think he's really good as a centre back, not as a left back. But I was really really surprised by that.
I think especially because he has shown that he has a bit of a hot head. Like he hasn't shown a lot of great captain characteristics yet. I
Yeah.
think thrusting it upon him was never particularly helpful.
Well, wasn't it Newcastle? No, it wasn't Newcastle, was
He's
it?
had a bit of an angry. Oh, it was Tottenham. He had an angry
Thank you.
like.
Tottenham. That was it. Yeah, that
But
outburst.
he looks like the one that's gonna get booked if anyone's gonna get booked, other than Jackson, who just seems to get booked all the time. But he's the
Yeah,
one that seems to want to get booked for like being aggressive to a player or shouting at the referee or doing something. Outside of Jackson, it's him. So I don't understand making him captain, really.
I mean, it's not as if he's got a lot of experience either. That's the thing that gets me. It's like he's actually a new player into this squad. Don't be wrong. I know that other players like Enzo's new and he's had it, but he's got a bit more experience. Um, I just think you've got Thiago Silva there. Like, I don't understand how you can not give him the armband. And I think he's played like every minute of every game or something stupid so far. At the age of
Yeah,
39. It's
OTO, yeah, probably. He's
yeah.
up there. I think he missed a couple of cup games, but other than that, I think Premier League is
Well,
probably
Premier League wise, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They did miss a couple of cup games. He definitely missed the first one.
Right, Matthew, this is depressing. Can we please end the podcast here?
Yeah, we can.
Stop asking me questions. Let's end the podcast here. I didn't want to do it in the first place. I didn't want to talk about it, and you keep asking me about things that are depressing. Can we just stop?
Well, I can't help that it's depressing, but it is my job to ask the questions.
It's also your job to keep it to 25 minutes, and that has not fucking happened.
No, but we did have a big talk about referees and decision making. Yeah. Time.
Wrap it up.
Time.
We've had 30 minutes of Fergie time here. Come on.
Right. So thank you all for watching this as Andrew called it, depressing vlog on the Overland and Sea podcast. Yeah. I don't even know how to sign off anymore. Thank you all for watching. Notification button, comment, follow, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for the Everton pre-game analysis.